Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. Let me show you the sketch. It is by Darla Weber at dweber.crafty. And she has got us going with some circles here. And actually it looks to me like she's kind of double matted the main cardstock here too with some papers. Unless that's, sometimes it's always hard to tell on these digital things if that's just like part of the, like how it came across or if that's an actual part of the design. I'm going to play like it's kind of part of the design. And then we have a single photo with a couple of tags this way and a tag that way with an embellishment cluster. And what I have is this picture that I took. You know, I try to get all artsy-fartsy. There's a couple birthday gifts I got, and I thought it was adorable. It's a t-shirt, and then there's this little cup here. And I don't know if y'all can tell, but it says other 50-year-olds, and it's a regular horse. And then it says you, and it's this pole dancing unicorn. So I love this picture. It's kind of cute. And what I pulled out is the Vicky Booten print shop. And my plan here, I love this background. It goes with this little kind of shades right in here. And my thinking is I'm going to use this floral as kind of the extra matte or whatever. And so it'll kind of go like this probably. And then I'm going to make the circles out of this. I think. I need to kind of see how that's going to look with the pattern. I got to make my circles big enough. We'll have to play with that a little bit. So that's my plan. And then these will be like what I used to make the tags out of is my thinking. And the photo mats. So, and then I have tons of ephemera and all the things. So that's why I pulled this collection out. So that is what I'm going to start with. Give me just, I did pull my circle cutter out. I have the Creative Memories of circle cutters, and I got to get those pulled out. So let me get started, and we'll come back on shortly.
Okay, gang, I'm going to start cutting these circles. Now, this video is going to be a little bit longer, which I feel kind of guilty about because I know you guys have a lot to watch with this 30 Days of Sketches. But I thought it was I kind of wanted to leave this in here because it's important. I shouldn't say it's important, but I kind of wanted you to see how I'm cutting these circles because since it is basically concentric, is that the right word? They're circles inside each other. So I kind of want to make sure you guys saw how I did it because it can get tricky sometimes cutting things inside of other things or whatever. I did use some washi tape to hold down the sheet of paper. And then I cut the biggest circle first. And that might not even have been right. I think sometimes I've cut the smallest circle first, but I know I needed to have it, when you look at the sketch, the circles are a little bit off. They're not exactly the same width all the way around, right? They're a little bit thicker on one side than on the other. And so I did, the first one went totally fine. No problem. Cut this out. It looks kind of cool. Look, I got it like a thicker side and then on the other side. Now where it got a little bit tricky is in this set of circles that I have, this Creative Memory set. The big one works real good, but then you get this, that's the next biggest one right there, y'all. So there's nothing in between. And I was kind of looking at this going, okay, well, how do I make this be offset? And so this was me kind of going back and forth with these templates, trying to figure out, well, if I do this, is that going to work? Is that going to work? And I thought, well, maybe I can use the big one. I'm really struggling with this, y'all. This is sped up 2 times, and you see how long I sat and looked at that and thought on that. So I'm going to end up pulling out, what do I end up doing now? I mean, I went back and forth on this. I'm like, okay, well, how do I cut another circle the right size? And I end up cutting, the second ring is actually not like thicker on one side than on the other. So I end up cutting, I'm looking at this, like I said, I start pulling this blue one out and I go, that's just not going to work, Christine. It's got to be thicker than that. It's got to be different than that. So I'm going to pull this small one out again, and I'm going to end up cutting, I think, with this small one here. Yeah. So I'm going to use, now again, I've mentioned this before with this system, but you see the red one and the blue one. Well, the depth between the little pegs that slide around inside the little, what would you call that? Groove. It's a groove inside the rings. Do you see there's little grooves cut in there? Well, there's little pegs coming out of the bottom of the blades there, and they go to the little groove, and you can see the template has 3 different colors. It's red, blue, and green, and the depth of the blade aligns with the little template there, so you can see, like, okay, if I put the blue one down, where's my blade going to end up cutting that in the various colors, right? And this is, again, I'm debating on this because it took me a minute. If you have a Cricut or something like that, this may be a tad easier because you can tell it different sizes and stuff. But this one I have, basically it's a fixed size. I can't really adjust anything. So I decided to use my blue on the middle one here. I don't know why I left that big circle. It didn't really matter at this point because it's just sitting inside there. But that's what I decided to do. So that's why I end up with just the same width all the way around on that middle circle. And then here's where I'm going to take this little guy, and I'm going to I will offset this just a tad, and I'll end up using the little red blade. Here's where I'm offsetting it. You can kind of see. And I'm trying to create the thickness a little bit different. Now, this is going to end up coming off the paper. So you're thinking, oh gosh, that's no good. Well, if you remember on the sketch, the right-hand side over there, well, it's up underneath the photograph. So this little piece here, see how I have a little moon looking thing almost? Well, that's going to be underneath the photograph, so you'll never see it. So it looks like the sketch. I'm actually kind of pleased with it. It turns out kind of neat. And I do like these little, they're not rainbows, these little scallop things on this paper looks kind of neat too. So, all right, so I've got my little peachy color. I trimmed it down to fit on top of the floral, and I like how that looks too. And I'm going to just kind of push all these to the side a little bit, or to the bottom right, so they come and they create that like, again, I keep wanting to say concentric, and I don't think that's actually the right word, but it kind of creates this cool looking circle effect here. And then now I'm going to see about matting up my photo. I did mat it on the light green kind of grid paper there, and I'm going to end up double matting it on that navy blue paper, which it's got a little green diamond pattern on it kind of, so it goes on top of that. And then I'm going to end up putting that in that lower right corner. I guess I'm going to scuff, and I scuff all these edges here, y'all. I'm so sorry, I forgot. So actually, you can kind of watch me for just a second. I'll end up making the tags out of the peach, the yellow, and the navy. And so I kind of like how that turns out too. The peach on top of peach kind of worried me for just a minute, but it ends up turning out okay. I will trim these here, and then I'm going to pull out my We Are memory keepers, and that's the other little process that I leave in here. I left more process in on this one, y'all, showing y'all my like actual, I hate to use the word technique. That's probably a little too scientific-y, but shows you kind of how I get stuff done, I guess is the right way to say that. So I trim those, but I'm going to pull out my We Are memory keepers in a minute. You'll see how tags are made on that little old tool. So here I'm just trying to figure out which colors I want where. And again, this is where I look at the peach and I worry on it for just a minute. And I go, no, you're dark enough. It looks okay when I've got it on top of the little circles and stuff like that. So I'm happy with those color combinations. Now I like that navy on the left-hand side because that's where that title's going to go. So now I'm going to pull out the We Are memory keeper thing. And I like this little guy. This is a good little tag maker. I know there's punches. I actually even own a punch that's a 2-inch wide punch, but it doesn't work obviously when you need a little bit wider tags. And I think these are actually closer to 3 inches. So what it comes with, it has that little old piece there that kind of stores inside of it on the back side. And you stick it, and there's a little notch that matches up where it says tag. And you stick it up and you match it up. And then you kind of put your paper where the lines, in this case, it's mine are like 2 inches, I guess. I don't really know if there's a science behind picking that. I kind of look just to see where do I like the, how I like the corner angles to be. And then I just make sure that the rest of the sides, you know, go in that same spot to create that same kind of corner angle size, if that makes sense. So I'm going to scuff the edges of my tags just a little bit. I actually do not end up putting strings on these tags. She didn't really show that in the sketch, and then I do put a lot of ephemera. Now, I do kind of overboard on the ephemera. I shouldn't say overboard. I do more ephemera than she shows in the sketch. Let me put it that way. But I was kind of okay with that because I have so much stuff, y'all, with this Vicky Bouton. And in fact, when I go to start putting stuff up, I actually find another few pieces of thicker like sticky things, and I went, oh shoot, I need to use some more of these. So I'll end up putting some more out toward the end. But anyway, I had so much of it, I'm not hurting. I don't have hurt feelings about using more than she had really shown on the sketch. Now Saturn has to, of course, supervise, so y'all bear with me while she's in the way. And in fact, even this morning when I was trying to do so, she climbed on top of the ephemera box that I had open and just sat right on it. And I'm like, okay, whatever, cat. You are always in my business. Look at her. She's licking the, oh, it's the washi tape. She likes to eat washi tape. Now, why that is, I couldn't tell you. I don't think there's a flavor to it, but whatever. She likes the sticky stuff. I have to get it from her so she don't choke on it. Okay, so I'm just kind of organizing myself, trying to figure out where am I going to put these the picture on top of the tags. And I think I actually agonize over this, and I really don't know why. It's not that big a deal, right? If I'm off at half a millimeter or whatever, but I messed with that. And that's the base of the layout basically right there, y'all. I'm going to glue this down. And the rest of it's kind of the fun stuff, right, where you start decorating. So this is kind of the base right here. And I end up running out of time. This was kind of early in the morning, but my husband was ready to go to the gym. So I had to cut it off and hop away. Even though I start pulling stuff out, I think, oh, maybe I can get one more piece in there. Nope, I do not to get one more piece in there. I pull it out and then I got to go. So this is me pulling all my stuff out. So my picture here, I think I mentioned in the beginning, but it's two of my gifts. One of them says vintage 1972, which I can't decide about that, y'all. Does that hurt my feelings? I'm not really sure. I don't know if I want to be vintage, but I guess I am because it's on a t-shirt, right? And then my other one is that little old cup, which I just adore. It's got that horse and then that unicorn on there. My party was a unicorn party. If you've watched my channel, you've seen some layouts where we were dressed in unicorn outfits. I personally wore a unicorn horn headband deal, and I had on a pink tutu, and I had on fluffy legs, y'all. I had these little hairy leg things. I got them for Halloween, if I'm honest. But I had that on. And then I have a t-shirt that I had won at work. It says, I suck at fantasy football. It's got a unicorn on it. We had a fantasy football league that I played in one year. And y'all, I don't know nothing about fantasy football. I like football. I know football. I'm in Texas, so I understand the game and all that, but I don't follow the stats. I don't really pay too much attention to who's doing great, whatnot. I just really just don't. So we start to play, and for me, it was just for fun, right? It's $20 to play or whatever, and so I start playing. Well, I go to the draft, and they got real mad at me because I picked the quarterback first. And I guess if you really play, that's not the right strategy. It threw them all for a loop. And then I was picking them because, if they're cute, that might work good. So anyway, the basis of that, telling you that, is I came in last place. Not unexpectedly, if I'm 100% honest. So my prize for last place was a t-shirt that says, I suck at fantasy football. But hey, it has a unicorn on it, so I wear it. I think it's great. Okay, so here's where I'm going on the ephemera here. So in the lower right down there, I'm just kind of going through this. She had 3 florals kind of drawn on there. And I do pull out a floral, but then I see this little, it's an ink deal. It says something like Superior General Purpose Ink. And I kind of laughed at that because my dad jokingly talks about us being superior or whatever, talking about, superior intelligence or whatever. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then I had this little title that says My Kind of Day. And I thought, oh, that kind of ties back in, it's my birthday and stuff like that. So I'm kind of farting around looking through the ephemera. And I end up pulling out different things. And I think I've had to cut away because I went somewhere else. And this is my final choices here. So I have the things I just mentioned. And then I did have a couple little more florals on the right-hand side that I chose. And then a green leaf here that's going to just kind of come up the side. And I'm going to use Nuvo on that because my little tape gun was just going to be too fat. Saturn is, of course, right in my business. She is right in it, y'all. She sat right on top. Y'all can't see her. You kind of can. It's in the upper left corner, real high up there. It's my box of ephemera, and she's definitely sitting right on it. I also put the My Kind of Day up on foam, so you'll see me do that in just a second. But first, I'm going to glue down these other little pieces. That's the piece right there. I'm going to cut my foam out in just a second. I started to use those foam lines, and I thought, well, that's silly. I got all this foam just sitting here on this fun foam, so I'm going to put that on the back of it. I'm also going to end up putting the fun foam behind the word awesome. I decided the title was going to be Hello Awesome, and then I end up at the end, you'll see me, I'm going to find another chipboard piece that adds to that title, but for the moment, it's just Hello Awesome. And then I'm going to put my foam there, and then I'm going to take in the upper right up there, I'm going to have that floral, you can see that little basket of flowers right there, and I will find a chipboard piece that I add to that little set. And then that butterfly, which I currently have in the upper left, I'm going to move over to the upper right there. All right, so here's where I'm just getting my glue. My cat just ran by me, scared me, y'all. I'm sorry if I got distracted. Well, it was kind of weird because I'm looking at the camera and I see her in the camera and I'm thinking, well, she's sitting there. So how is she making noises everywhere? Y'all crazy. I'm crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to put my foam here. I had to trim this down. It was a little too much. I don't really have any journaling on here, and I kind of might need to. I'll probably go on the back side of it just to explain why I've got the picture of these two things, and that it's for my 50th birthday. So here's where I put my foam on awesome, and what do I got going on? Oh, I got to glue my little floral up there, and I've got that butterfly, but I don't do it yet. I find this little chipboard piece that says this day, and again, I'm just kind of alluding to the fact that it's my birthday. So I got that off of there. And then I find these 2 little stars. Do I put those on there yet? There's 2 little stars and a little heart on this sheet right here. I don't know if I've done that yet. I may not have. I may do the butterfly first. I will put foam on the outside edges of the butterfly. And I'll put a little glue on the middle so his little body stays down. But then I got the foam on the outside so it makes the wings kind of lift up just a little bit. And I'm trying to cut this foam up here. I think I'm just kind of doing that. I try to use my ATG gun on all 4 pieces, but I end up being able to only get it to roll off onto the 2 bigger pieces. And then I put Nuvo glue under the 2 smaller little pieces of foam. I like how that little butterfly turns out. Now, that was definitely not on the sketch anywhere, y'all, because the top of the sketch kind of ended with tags. But I have all this ephemera I have to use, so I'm going to use it. This is me trying to use that ATG gun on those bottom pieces. That's not going to work. Y'all, it's Sunday afternoon, and I am drowsy. Can y'all tell? Can you tell I'm half asleep, it seems like? All right, so I got my butterfly down. Here's where I found these two little chipboard, or these three little chipboard pieces here. It's two stars, little heart, and then I like this little arrow. It's kind of pointing to the cup once I get it down. I will use some Nuvo glue to glue it down because it doesn't like to stick. I don't think I put that on camera, though. I start to kind of pick up because I'm thinking, okay, I think I'm done with this thing. And that's when I find these other sheets here, and I go, oh, I need to use this Made Me Laugh. I think this is great. It's going to go up underneath this Hello Awesome Made Me Laugh. And there's Saturn yet again getting my business. And then I've got this camera that I thought was real cute. So I'm going to put that up behind the ink piece over there. And I kind of like how that looks too. So that is going to be the end of it, y'all. So I'm going to slow it down here so you can see it. I think this turned out real cute. I'm happy with this, actually. And I'm so sorry. Saturn is preventing me from showing y'all real good. She's got her head right on the underside of that paper there. She got aggravated with me. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Please make sure you check out the playlist. Lots of people playing along. Also, don't forget I have an Instagram at Scrapping Harden, and I will post all of my layouts every day this month, so you'll get to see those. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.